Hello, friends. Welcome to another fun, exciting session of Between the Pros from Vibe Tribe Productions. How's everybody doing tonight? There we go. There's all the thumbs. Um, Somebody cast thaumaturgy before the game even started. I'm excited to see what that's going to be about. Hi.
Thaumaturgy. I misclicked.
Hi, my name is Finn. I'm going to be your dungeon deity for this adventure. Let's meet our players real quick, starting with Eric.
Hey, what's up? I'm Eric. I'm playing Quill. Quill is a excuse me, half elven lore bard, trying to uncover the great mysteries that surround us, while not making the best decisions, and possibly inebriated. Yep. But we will see what happens next.
Dan. Dan playing Sir Mordau of Clan Viento, Kingslayer, Queenmaker, all that jazz. Who's also trying to break down some systems of caste systems that have been established aeons because believes everyone should be equal and all that jazz. And he's not afraid of any. He doesn't care of who or what King's Neck gets in his way. He's gonna get to it.
Maximus.
Hi, I'm Maximus playing Kunda. The emphasis slightly to this draft.
And Connor.
Found it. I found the unmute button. Hi, I'm Connor. I am playing Love, the Tiefling, the Abyssal Tiefling Fey Wanderer Ranger. Here to, have a great time and keep things going okay, I guess, in an okay time, Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, let's start this session off strong. Last we left our party, they had adventured into a brand new book. They have met two quote-unquote star-crossed lovers, named Borealis and Klaus, who is a scrawny fuck, as two wolves described him. Klaus is a blind king of this land who has asked Borealis to escort him back to his castle with the grand reward of not only 5 times her weight in gold, but also keeping the secret of her existence. Our party has joined them. They don't trust Klaus, if I'm remembering correctly from our previous session. And we're traversing through the woods. It will take about 2 days' time to get to the nearest village, where you will be able to experience some semblance of civilization and hopefully be one step closer to getting Klaus out of your hair. Does anybody else have anything to add?
Still carrying him on my shoulders.
Still carrying him on your shoulders. Yep. Connor, you're still frozen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I noticed. It's
He's
fine.
not blinking.
Connor's not going to blink for the full 3 hours that we're on air.
And if I could do that, that'd be so cool.
It would be a pretty neat trick.
Yep.
Whenever I was dead for Clue, I kept my eyes open the whole time I was dead. People were like, "You kept your eyes open the whole time. That was crazy." It's like
You could be a professional dead body on sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like throwing a little twitch every now and then. It was great.
Terrifying.
Wait, sorry, blinking is required?
That's an excellent question about humanity.
to have normal to not have disadvantage on social rolls, yes, you gotta blink. If you don't blink, you have disadvantage on all social interactions.
Yep. Also, I'm going to be distracted this evening because I have a new cat. And by new, I mean my only cat. She doesn't want to be on camera, though. Her name is Boblin the Goblin. Her nickname is Bogo.
And she's adorable.
She lives up to her name. Connor and I's parents met her today. And our mother terrorized this poor little tiny child.
Yes, she should. As
Yeah.
a grandmother.
Yeah. Anyway, let's play some D&D. What do we say?
All right.
I say yes, and I could only not blink for about 1 minute and 37 seconds. So
Were you timing yourself just now?
yeah,
I was like on stage for like 6 minutes.
All right, you guys are in the forest.
Okay.
I would like to do a roll, please.
What type of roll would you like to do, Connor?
I would like to determine, whilst we are walking and arguing and being suspicious of Klaus and his scrawniness, I would like to try and determine if we are being followed by anyone or anything.
Okay. How would you like to try and determine this?
I think what I would primarily like to do is, during a lull or I don't know, like a heated spot in the conversation that is going on, I'd like to kind of drop back to the back of the line or of the group, and focus my hearing as much as I, can do such things naturally, and kind of in a rangery way attune with the forest and kind of get a sense of what the ambient sounds are, if there's an errant, twig snap or similar, anything out of sorts in that audio spectrum, I think, to start.
Okay. You can roll me either. I will give you a choice between 3. You can either do perception, investigation, or survival.
Let's go with perception, because that's the highest.
Okay.
How about a 10?
At 10, over what amount of time are you trying to ascertain this information?
I would say probably with a 10, I'd probably say not very long. I probably drop back for a couple minutes to excuse myself from the tales of whatever's going on towards the front of the line as Mordau gives them the ride going forward.
Okay.
So probably just a couple minutes at most.
Okay. I will say that because you guys are traveling at night, you're in a forest, and of course you are a ranger, so you are more attuned to this type of stuff. You don't really hear anything out of the ordinary, except for, like average night sounds in a wood. So any twig snapping that you hear is from animals shifting in their sleep, or from everybody who's walking the forest path cracking twigs on their own accord. But you're not getting any feeling of anybody following you or anything following you.
Cool. Okay.
At this time.
One other quick question. The path
Yes.
that we're walking on, is it like a known and well-used path, or are we forging our own path?
I'm so happy you asked. You guys have been walking for several hours at this point. You have been on a dedicated, worn path, but it's a very small path. It really is only designed to have maybe 1 or 2 people walking it. You can tell that is how much it's been tread over the years. you're not seeing any kind of noticeable features of footprints, hoof prints, or cart like wheels embedded into the dirt and the mud. As you have been walking, also, you have noticed that this path makes some weird types of like turns and curves. Stuff that doesn't really seem to go along with the natural path of the woods. Like people have gone out of their way to take this certain route. And at certain parts of this pathway, you've noticed that the road, as we'll call it, narrows significantly, almost as if they were trying to hide their pathway in this wood.
So it's
Interesting.
almost
Okay,
like
cool.
a
Thank you.
robber's trail.
Yeah, almost like a robber's trail.
Okay. Mordau's just, just walking. He, no, he doesn't do any shenanigans. He's just
No, do
walking.
Be a chaos gremlin.
Whenever he says love saying, I'm gonna keep an ear out for anything. I wanted to use thaumaturgy to make it sound like love farted. And I was like, loves a shy farter. Needs to
That's why she
the group.
That's why she dropped back in the.
I want to throw any suspicion out of the window. There's no suspicion. We're not trying to see if this guy's trying to put a tail on us or anything like that.
As far as you can tell, no.
Because I can
While
do that.
Fenda is watching Love surveying stuff, he's gonna wait like about 1 meter behind everyone, and he's gonna sit behind a tree, and he's gonna use his hat. And basically, I'll get Laurie and like we've done this before, but never used it like in this sort of setting. I'm going to see to the eyes of my familiar, and I'm going to do like a aerial scout.
Okay. Remind me, is there a range in which Lori can go before you start to lose connection with her?
100 feet, I believe.
100 feet. Okay. Perfect. Are you going to have her fly to the 100 feet and then just kind of like do circle reconnaissance, or what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go just below the 100 feet, but because I'm using my vision, like I'm seeing through her.
Right, you're deaf and blind when you're doing that. So
yeah, while I'm sitting down.
Oh, you're sitting down?
Yeah.
I guess I'll pick him up too. we gotta keep going. It's got 2 days.
So you've got one person on each shoulder, and then you've got your party warlock.
He's around my neck. He's around my neck.
He's a scarf. Okay.
Okay.
So for what Lori and you see dense forest stretching out for miles and miles up and down and along this coastline. You can tell that you are on kind of like a peninsula coastline. From where you guys were, you can I can't talk tonight, as that's different from every other night. You can see the outline of Borealis's lighthouse tower fading in the distance the more that you guys travel through this dense forest. You're not seeing a whole lot of other structures for a very long time. There seems to be no real break in the forest canopy, but you can see that there are different types of trees that are like taller and shorter than the rest of them.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get Laurie to turn back to me and give her a seed.
Perfect. It takes her a few minutes to find you because Mordau picked you up and continued traveling, but she does find you and she does happily take that seed from you, and she will bob her head in appreciation and eat the seed while perched onto your shoulder.
And I'll point out to Quill nothing but forest for a couple of miles.
Perfect.
And
Alden's fine through your
Mordau as
burn?
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just takes off the scarf, having tied Maximus, so he's not secure anymore. All right. Off the Murdow Express. Gee. So how long have you been a king for?
Klaus makes like a noise because he wasn't expecting being addressed. And he says, I've been I've been on the throne for the past 5 years now. My parents passed away about 6 years ago, and I was appointed king shortly after the mourning period ending.
They both died?
They did. They were traveling to one of our neighbors, neighboring kingdoms, and they unfortunately met their end on the road.
That sounds terrible.
It was quite sad, yes. My father was a great king, and my mother was a wonderful woman, to be sure.
Some big shoes to fill.
Well, I don't wear my father's shoes. I have my own
Yeah.
wardrobe.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you bought a whole new wardrobe, probably threw out everything, huh?
Well, I didn't. I don't think all of it was thrown out. I'm
You
sure
didn't keep
there's still
any of
some of it
it.
in storage somewhere.
You didn't keep any of it to, I don't know, as a reminder. The smell. I mean, as you being blind, having other senses is important to you.
Bogo is going sicko mode in her tower right now, so it was distracting for a second. Klaus says, it's not very becoming for a king to
Mourn.
be sentimental past the mourning period in that way.
I mean, I guess if you don't want to remember loved ones, sure.
It's
But
not that I don't want to remember them, it's just there are expectations. You have to understand.
right. No, but as being somebody of the people, you can't be you have to have some empathy. And in order to have empathy outside, you have to have empathy for yourself.
Oh, of course, yes. You're right. Yes. My parents weren't the only ones who died that night, and it was easy for me to show empathy to the families of those who we lost as well. But my advisors are quite old-fashioned, we'll say.
somebody that's trying to do good for their kingdom and, I mean, wants to be the best king that he can. Not trying to compare you to your father, who you've said was a good king. Why again were you out by yourself and getting chased by wolves? I feel like we just discussed, having empathy for yourself and care for yourself would partially mean not putting yourself in danger.
Yes, and as I explained earlier, if I had told anyone of my plans, I would be condemned and locked up, and as the last of my bloodline, I couldn't afford to let that happen.
Right, self-preservation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I suppose I was cocky, so overconfident perhaps, that I wouldn't encounter anything too dangerous for myself,
Like wolves.
like wolves.
You know there's worse things than wolves, right?
Such as
With thaumaturgy, I'm going to make the ground tremble underneath us.
which he's not going to really feel because you're still carrying him.
No, it's pretty it's harmless tremors in the ground, but I mean it would shake me up too. It would resonate across all of us.
He feels it happening and he death grips his hands onto you to steady himself because he's not sure what's going on. And I feel like Borealis knows kind of what you're doing and smiles and kind of like nudges you with her elbow.
Yeah. I just want to make him think that he's more indebted to us than he realizes, especially considering he put himself in this position and we don't trust him very much.
I kind of want to make you roll for that, but I don't know if I want to
With
make you roll
advantage?
because he's
It-
blind. Yeah,
It'd
sure.
probably be deception with advantage.
I would say either deception or intimidation.
I don't think I'm a proficient in any either of them, but you would think as a Goliath. Oh no, I am.
As a large lad.
I am proficient in intimidation. I forgot.
Oh god.
18.
With an 18, he you can tell by the way that his body has like tensed up and the grip that he put on. I'm assuming you're wearing a shirt or a tunic.
Oh, I'm still wearing the tuxedo from from the party. Sleeveless tuxedo.
He grips onto your tuxedo and he's like, "This is fine material. Perhaps you're not as barbaric as I thought you were initially." And he is intimidated.
You know, I'm a lot of things. I'm a barrel monkey of things, if you want to phrase it that way. But yeah, I mean, if you want to think of barbaric, sure. But I also like to dress classy. Dress classy while I smash you, as I say sometimes.
You would get along with the captain of my guard. I'm sure of it.
I don't really like captains of guards. They're kind of pushovers. I hung one up like an ornament on a tree one time. He was alive. He's fine, but
you think he's alive.
I actually was saving him from my friends. You know, they're not I'm actually the nice one out of the group. I'd like to say we're not very keen on people that try to take advantage of our goodwill.
Is it the friends that you're traveling with now? Klaus says.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Really? One time somebody lied to us just a teeny bit. Oh man, we made blood come out of their ears. we do this. One of our guys has this thing where he can insult them inside their mind.
Oh, Quill,
You remember that,
correct?
don't you?
I do remember that. My head still aches a bit from you, I believe, calling me a chicken wing.
Oh, that's right. See, I'm more of a merciful guy. Quite kind of the quick and easy kind of guy. I once split a guy completely in half with my axe.
Good
It's
gods.
like it's like cutting a cake in half. You got to see all the layers. It was pretty gross.
I mean this with no hyperbole. I can only imagine.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it was really easy too.
Mm.
Surprisingly easy. His name was what was his name? Can't even remember his name, honestly. Feels like ages ago. But
Take him foreskin.
oh yeah, we nicknamed him Foreskin. He got cut down pretty nice and easy. But you don't got any work that you worry about because you're with us, and you haven't lied to us.
Oh, you've tried.
No, I did try. I see now I'm in a pickle because I'm too afraid to lie or tell any half truths in fear that you will kill me.
Explode your brain.
Well,
That
we're
too.
we're kind of honest people, so you ask us anything, we'll tell you the truth. We'll take it to our graves. But also, we're just passing through. We're just some nice folks just passing through, just trying to help people out. Or else I wouldn't be carrying you 2 days on my shoulder.
You don't have to carry me the full 2 days.
Honestly,
It took
it's
you 2
nothing.
days to get here because you're blind and you walk slow. We want to get there quicker.
It's either that or you hold a rope while you're carrying that cane already. Or not cane, but
And we're not slowing down, so if you get dragged, that's on you.
And he kind of literally very blindly reaches out and grabs onto Bore's skirts and kind of tugs her a little bit across your other shoulder and says, "Are you sure you want to travel with them?" And Borealis kind of leans back on Morda's shoulders and says, "There are best chances of survival at this time, so yes."
You might want to let go of her skirt, considering what I already know about you.
And Klaus does so and tilts his head in the direction of your voice and says, "And remind me what you know about me."
What you would be willing to do to get your sight.
I already told you I'm
Oh,
not a
indeed.
monster.
Yet, and I'm going to make sure you stay that way. See, Mordau, for all of his size, strength, and his intimidating demeanor, I'm the monster.
yeah, what Cool said. Watch out, branch! And then he smacks into the branch.
Borealis grips onto your shoulder and stifles a laugh, like has to bite her hand to keep the laughter in. And then kind of playfully smacks you on the shoulder.
You gotta be a little bit quicker than that, man.
I'm blind. I can't do anything.
I know that's why I said watch out, branch.
I am at your mercy, and it is embarrassing to
And
me.
that's why I said watch out, branch. Anyway, yeah, like what Quill said, Quill's the monster.
And since then, you've tried to buy our loyalty, offering us treasures and titles and lands and all this other nonsense. then you talked about how good your parents were, how decent, kind, and in knowing about you, I seem to think some of those lessons may have failed. And you talk about how your advisors would have had you committed, when as the king, you could have had them arrested or simply killed in their beds and removed that threat. And there's so many other ways you could do things instead of endangering Bori. Now, coming to learn Bori's situation, I'm glad we got put here so we could help her. But if I'm going to help you, you need to be a very different person. This is your come to Lathander moment.
Lathander?
God of the
He's
Sun.
a god back home.
We also have stories of a god of the sun named Lathander, but nobody talks about him anymore. I'm surprised you would say his name so casually. Cattail.
Can't tell.
Bogo.
Boblin!
I know, meow.
Hi, Bogo.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Morning Lord, but he's one of them. Too preachy, in my opinion. Too sunny.
Oh, he's not my god,
Well,
but he's
yeah.
respected for who he is and what he is.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine you going to any Lathander masses unless you were just going there for the wine.
It's fair. They do have great sacramental wine.
They do.
All their valleys and everything else they grow the grapes. Oh, great sunlight, good soil, good vintages. Very
I mean,
good vintages.
they're always good.
Where did you say you all were from again?
Oh, by the coast.
No,
The
he's from the
coast.
west. I'm not.
Yeah, pretty west from here.
It's a very big world, Your Majesty.
Surely, yes. But as I said, no one around here talks about the gods anymore. Haven't for generations, as I was told.
Is there a reason why?
Well, story says the gods are dead.
I mean, gods are only as dead as you carry them sometimes. Gods are just, I don't know. It's one of those things you believe in them, they show up sometimes. Sometimes you believe in them and they never show up. It's really just how they're feeling.
Well, even then, we've heard stories of years, centuries ago, even when the gods would appear at a whim, as you said, but when they get bored, when they're invoked, when they're insulted, and there have been people who have tried every avenue possible and still had no contact from them.
It's not about you needing to talk to them. It's about listening on occasion. They've left stories. They've left tales and everything else on how to be better than yourself. It's not about you getting some grand sign from the heavens. It's about listening and taking the stories to heart and making yourself better than you were.
And you're sure you won't accept my offer to be one of my advisors, Quill?
It's a big world. This is a tiny piece of it. If you think I have good advice, it's because I've only made bad decisions. Remember, I wasn't kidding when I said that I was the monster.
I believe you. Believe me, I believe you. But a worldly man such as yourself could only prove to be an asset to a blind man like me.
You're only blind if you choose to stay that way.
I'm only blind
Vision
because I
gets
have a
in.
disability.
No, your vision will often cloud you to not seeing the darkness in people's hearts. Your inability to see someone's outside should give you the ability to look at someone's inside if you
Trying to,
choose to allow it.
trying to say that you have a whole advantage by having another vantage of life. You see in other ways that other people can't.
I suppose the two of you are correct, and I will endeavor to better myself with a new perspective.
I hope you do.
So, how long do you think this on the trail is going to take?
At least 2 days.
At least 2 days.
It
Okay.
said it took him 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
and under the condition of blindness, he'd be moving at half speed.
Mm-hmm.
So it may only take us 1 day.
It's true.
But how long have we been traveling?
You have been traveling, I would say probably, I will be generous and say about 5 hours at this point. So you are in deep middle of the night.
Okay. What if okay, so first thing in the morning we can send Maximus's bird up to see if he can see the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take breaks during the day
Mm-hmm.
to long rest.
It's about 3 in the
Gwendar,
morning, 3:30 in the morning.
Gwendar, are you around?
Yeah, I'm right behind you. He's just waiting to find everyone else because he's covered in all black, so he's camouflaged in the forest.
I hate it when you just appear behind me. But it is a very useful skill, I do admit. How tired are you?
Like right now.
Yeah,
Uh, Nothing to report. Only like forest from miles.
would you be willing and or able to scout ahead?
Yeah, I can get Laurie to. I've already gotten Laurie to do that.
How far ahead?
But for your entertainment, I'll get her to do it again. But I'll do a bit of a different hand signal and just uh, somewhat of a signal to hover across the ground rather than aerial. But dart between the trees. The Laura kids are very fast.
If we could get maybe a 2-minute warning of anybody coming. I'd like to go ahead, sit down for a bit, try and rest our feet, get a bite to eat. But I don't want to get caught with my trousers down.
You eat with the trousers down?
Then don't take your trousers off.
Yeah.
I've been drinking nonstop for the past 6 days. I need to piss.
Your poor kidneys, says Finn, the DM. Goodness gracious.
Now I see what you mean. I'm like, I'm gonna give Laurie another hand signal.
Sorry, I'm
All
looking
right.
at roll 20.
All right, everybody. 30 minutes?
That
30
works
minutes
for me.
what? In 30 minutes we're gonna rest?
Yeah, just, take some weight off our feet, get a bite to eat, make
Okay.
you a mess in the woods.
All right.
Klaus, if you want to stay alive, stay close to Mordau.
I don't think I would be able to go anywhere else. But I will take your advice. So you guys
Yeah.
stop and take a rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
Okay. That fixed that. Okay, perfect. So is Quindar sending Lori out to keep watch for everybody?
yeah, I've got a stat sheet. I'm just using my sheet for like certain checks in this. Do you want to just do a general wisdom check or?
Yeah. Give me a wisdom check.
Yeah. Good. 30-20.
Perfect. Okay. I mean, yes, the DC was going to be a 12. So what would you like to say to her?
So first, Quill heads off a bit into the woods.
I'm gonna say to her, follow Quill's.
You say follow
Yeah,
Quill?
follow Quill's orders.
Okay.
So if she's going to follow my orders, I wanted to send her ahead on the path for, say, 2 minutes and fly back. And then just keep circling our party at a 100-foot radius after that.
Okay.
I'm gonna say like just above table. 2 minutes for a lorikeet would be about. It would cover a mile in your sense. So it's a very big search area.
Oh, wow.
They're fast little
Because
birds.
they're very small birds, but they can go from one block to another within like.
Well, then that's really good. It'll tell us anything ahead on the road. And then after that, just keep a perimeter around us.
Yep.
Right. She does that. And I'm assuming we're not doing Quendar's able to see through Lori's eyes. So if she sees anything, she's just zipping back to you guys, is what I'm hearing, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Yep. She does that. She nods her head. She gives a little chirp of affirmation, and she zips off into the woods.
So, during all this time, while we take our short rest, I just want to step off, just off the path, kind of into the woods a little bit, just out of earshot from everybody, and I want to send a message to Love, telling her where I am and that I would like to talk.
Cool. Love, when the message first comes through, jumps like 3 feet straight up in the air, and casts Thorn Whip at the closest tree and just lashes at it like 3 or 4 times. And then embarrassingly goes, I think I just need a little break. Thanks. And she'll head over towards you, Quill, and sheepishly
To
look
your
at
right.
you and hi.
To your right, there. Yep. Hey, you've been quiet. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I mean, I think really what I've been thinking about, if Klaus, I don't think Klaus is as bad as we initially think he is, just because he's a king or a regent, but he's 100% not being forthcoming, and I'm kind of trying to figure out why that is, and I have some thoughts, um, but I'm uh, could I make a some kind of a check to see if I've heard of any kind of fairy tale connected to this story arc before?
Yes. You can roll. I would say roll history.
Okay.
And because you are like interplanar,
Hmm.
roll at advantage.
Okay, cool. Because that's a 10 and that's a 7. So I'll take the 10.
With a 10, you recall reading a few different variations of a story about a girl who's trapped in a tower with very long flowing hair. But you don't recall anything that quite matches what you have experienced so far in this story.
Perfect. So Love pauses as remembering this, and she kind of drops the nervousness, and leans back against a tree with her arms crossed, and says, "Look, I worked for a monastery. I was raised in the monastery, and we had just as many books as you could possibly want, right? Um, Growing up in an environment like that, you can't help but read a few things. And this story that we're in, it checks a lot of boxes for a lot of your baseline fairy tale setups. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of thing that we've walked into, but I can't shake this feeling that whatever story we're a part of here, um, this just kind of feels off. And I'm gonna be honest, I mostly read mysteries. Like that's my whole thing. Like I really love, like I love a good mystery. But there's something there's something about Klaus and about Borealis and the tower and this forest and him not having sight but being able to make it all the way out here in 2 days, and it's just not quite adding up for me, and I'm not entirely sure why. And I can't shake this feeling that um I don't think we're walking into Klaus's trap, but I definitely think that we're walking into a trap of some kind. Nobody would write a story like this and not have something in there as a little action hook. You know what I mean?
Plot twist.
Yeah. There's got to be a twist coming, and I don't know if we have seen enough of this land to know what that twist is going to be. I think, with the princess in the last one, that that wasn't a story that I knew. That there were a lot of environmental things in there, but I kind of forgot that I was in a story. For this one, I feel like I don't know. I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for the page to turn, for the shoe to drop. You know?
I get it. But while we're in a story, there's also people's lives that are involved here.
Yeah. Yeah, and
As
that's
as demented as things are, the first thing I'm wondering is, knowing what Klaus was capable of and scaring him off that path, trying to
yeah,
show him a new path and encouraging it. Now, that's already a twist in the story, isn't it? Which means there's going to be another when we get there. The first one are going to be the advisors.
yeah. I
So,
also I also question, whose story is this?
well, that's the other end, isn't it? Because we got Bori and her crazy people and whatever cult they were that have been farming her. And they're either going to be up our ass or showing up at the kingdom too.
Yeah.
So we need to be ready for both.
Mhm.
And then, of course, there's always a third plot twist. They're the same people.
Mhm. That brings about more questions too. But I don't know. Do you think we're
So,
going to find answers here in the woods, or do you think we're going to find answers back in town?
we're not going to have answers in the woods, but it gives us a chance to understand what we're looking at,
Mhm.
have a plan before we walk into a literal pile of shit.
Yeah.
So, Jesus,
Ben,
Quinda, don't do that.
sorry. No, I'm talking to Ben.
But here we have a world where the gods are dead, and yet we have Bori of divine blood and people harvesting it.
Ben, while I've been listening in on this conversation, how much time has passed since Laurie's been scouting?
I would say maybe like 5 or 10 minutes.
So like longer than 2 minutes.
Correct.
And
Was she supposed to
yeah,
come back after 2 minutes?
Yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah.
be
I'm
2 minutes there, 2 minutes back, and then just circle the camp.
Oh, my bad. I forgot about that part. Yeah, after like 2.5 minutes, she flew back, made contact with Quendar, and then started to circle camp. She didn't see anything super suspicious so far.
I'll take that.
I'm gonna do this neat little trick to so she can tell you what she has spotted, and I'm going to touch her and cast speak animals on her and say anything to report.
Oh, now Finn is struggling with what character voice to give Lori.
Imagine annoying as hell. Like they are very loud in real life.
I know. I've worked with birds before, but I'm like, do I do an accent? Do I just
Lori's from Brooklyn.
Always tropical.
Lori could just do an Australian accent.
Australian. Felt like a bird.
Would that be
It is.
offensive?
Remember, if you wanted, you can. Remember, it is a rainbow bird. You can give it like a gay voice because it's synonymous to its
Shit.
color.
Colorful bird.
But see, if I was gonna give her a gay voice, I would just speak as I normally speak.
Right.
Bogo didn't like when I did air horn noises. Lori says, yeah, I didn't see anything. It's just trees, rocks, there's a few bushes. There was like a weird bigger rock, but like nothing.
Okay, thank you. And I hand her a sunflower seed. It's
Oh,
an
thanks,
extra.
mate.
And then
Fucking
I
love
end the spell.
sunflower seeds. She eats the sunflower seed very happily.
So, Love, what do you think about the strange possibilities of this kingdom or another kingdom, or just a cult with them farming divine blood in a world full of dead gods?
Well, I think if we here's my thought in that specific regard. Either we're dealing with a small group operating deep in the woods for their own, personal gain, or we're dealing with a small group or a large group operating in the woods for their personal gain, and they themselves have a lot of power. And that makes me worried for the role that everyone's going to play in this story. I think I don't know, Quill. This I'm worried, you know? Bori seems like a sweet girl. Klaus seems like a boy.
Like an asshole.
Like, like a misguided something. Not full
Misguided,
benefit of the
entitled
doubt.
prick.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to say he's so far gone that he can't learn, but
Are you familiar with the point of no return?
yes. Very much.
So, one of the reasons why I am discouraging certain actions, one, on mere principle, and two, trying to keep him from becoming the monster that I know he could be.
Yeah. I think that's understandable. But I also know that if he, as a king, how can I say this?
already has very few limits.
If he is the king and he is not at the point of no return, that means that whoever is shaping him behind the scenes hasn't had reason to fully shape him yet. Maybe opportunity, but I think it's much more likely that it's a hasn't had the reason to.
A
I
long
think
con.
it's yeah, and I think I think shaping him and teaching him lessons now to protect Bori is a good move. But I worry about what we're going to find once we reach town,
Well,
whether it's
there's
these
still one
advisors
other
or
twist.
whomever. Do what?
There's still one other twist.
Hmm.
Bori's the monster.
Oh yeah. No, I've already thought of that. Yeah, that's yeah. But honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, Quill. That would be so cool. Like I'd be so proud of her in that moment if she's the actual monster, And like I I'm kind of ready for that, just in terms of if that's the story that's happening here. Uh yeah, that would be super awesome.
And here's the problem with that. The question is, are we ready for it?
Oh, probably not. No. Yeah, she could probably kill
A
us
young
all like in
girl
an instant.
with divine blood,
Yeah.
losing a bloody mind,
Hmm.
and what are the limits of her power?
Yeah. Oh, I think we also have different interactions with the divine because yeah, that doesn't um the divinity of her blood does not necessarily shake me as much as I think it probably should. Um, but I think that's more of a exposure thing because where I'm from, that's like not a big deal at all. I mean, I'm a tiefling, like demons in my lineage. You know what I mean? So like, who doesn't have a little bit of divine power within them?
Love trying to go real hard, like, I got demons in my blood.
Yeah, no, it's a definite
Like,
like, aren't I cool? Please tell me I'm cool. Am I cool now, please?
As powerful as demons are, remember how many different types and ranks. Then you have Lords of the Abyss, then you have Demon Princes. And how many are there in the infinite layers? And then, above them gods, how much does it take to kill us all and everyone else? One drop? Two?
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah, that sounds
matter of
about right.
exposure. It's a simple matter of what is there and what we don't have.
Yeah, but we'll
For
probably
all
be fine, right?
we need to be ready for every problem. For all the
Yeah.
power your demonic blood may carry, I might actually, as a half elf, be strong enough to contend with you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to imply that I'm powerful. I'm just I'm just a misplaced librarian. Like that's all I am. Um, no, I
No,
just meant,
no,
it's kind of like the great equalizer, It's like death comes for us all and we all have awesome lineage that comes from a multitude of places, and that's what makes
you are
our
powerful,
travel through the
love.
realm so cool.
You are powerful, love.
Oh, thanks.
Connor,
Huh?
roll a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
A wisdom save.
Hmm.
Could I interest you in a 16?
You could indeed. Okay. Nothing happens. You don't notice
Okay.
anything.
Okay, thanks.
Carry on.
Okay. Suspicious.
So, I just ate the underdogs in this situation to be ready to move when we need to move. Everybody's
Yeah.
going to know more now. Everybody's going to be afraid to stand toe to toe with them. It's a damn good thing. What I need is for those of you who don't stand out in the same way to be ready and able to move when things go sideways.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
can
with
make that
me?
happen. Not a problem at all.
All right. And Quinda, you already have quite an interesting skill set. I must say, you are the most impressive window washer I've ever met.
Thank you.
So, when things get hairy, it's not an if, it's a when. I need your blades in somebody's spinal cord. You ready for that?
Yeah, Kunna gives a bit of a devilish grin.
Good to know. We've only got a few more minutes before we moving. And as much as I want to cue Mordau in, he's chatty, but I know we can trust him in the moment. So let's get back to it, eh?
Morda, what have you been doing with Klaus and Bore while this has been going on? You're muted. Dan, I'm so
I
sorry.
just put Klaus down, and for Bore, I've just been with my great axe, just like spinning it almost like a sign spinner, but like spinning it around, like throwing it, almost like juggling it. It's like this
Just
is
showing
what
off.
it's like this is what my tribe used to do. I mean, they used to do it with just sticks, but they don't usually have a great axe on the other side of it. But yeah, I'm just teaching her my like my village dance, like pretty much.
Roll performance at advantage.
Oh yeah.
You're doing it so well. Bore is just mesmerized. And she is laughing and she's smiling, and she's like clapping her hands and cheering you on as this is happening. And she at one point kind of like reaches over and picks up a stick and tries to mirror your movements with your great axe too.
Explain to her. Just like, okay, well, it's a lot about just breathing, and whenever you breathe, it's very similar like Maui, like Maori, like warrior, like breathing while you're moving. It's like a dance almost, but you're using the stick a good bit too. Um, but yeah, I teach her some of the ways, the moving of it all.
She tries to follow your movements as best as she can. And there are a few points when she kind of stumbles, and she like drops her stick. She picks it up again and she just keeps trying to follow your example. And after a while, she kind of sighs with content and says, "Tell me more about your tribe, about your people."
Well, I kind of got. I only remember this from like whenever I was a kid, and my we don't really have like parents per se. I mean, of course, we have. I mean, technically, like biological parents, but like more so, you get born and you're taken care of by like the village. I mean, I guess it would be kind of like a. I mean, you've lived in a building all your life. I'm trying to say all these different semantics, but basically, like there's a wet nurse who takes care of the kid, kind of. But then you're established into the village in a way that everybody is family, so there's no like bias towards anybody, and everyone kind of raises you as their own and imparts wisdom and things like that. And of course, there's all these dances that they do. They're they tell stories through them, and also it's just to uh, kind of find yourself in it too. Uh, but I only remember a bit of it. Once my once my markings came in shortly after, that's when I ended up living with Zeffy for a while, and like Mordau's like kind of gets like a little bit of a shiver, and he's like, but I mean, tell me about the people that would always check on you. How would they just come to treat you, and that's it? You never got a name. You never got one of them calling the other person a name or anything.
No, they were just the doctors. I they they brought me books. They educated me, especially when I was younger. And in one of the stories that I read, I remember reading the words mother and father. And I think at one point when I was very small, I tried to call them that, but they discouraged that and said that they were simply the doctors. I don't I don't know what they look like. They always wore robes and face masks that look like birds. Um, and I remember asking them when I was younger why they wore those all the time and why I didn't have to wear them. And they just said that there was a plague that was causing the air outside to be harmful. And so they had to wear the masks for their own safety. And that's why I wasn't allowed outside. But they brought me food and they brought me books and dresses and things to occupy my time. And it's been like that for my entire life. Who was that man that you went to live with after your markings came in? And what do your markings symbolize?
Um, yeah, my markings, they don't usually look like this in the village. So they I got a lot of weird looks because of it. and our village priest. I mean, I guess that would be the closest thing to what you'd call it. The proclaimed that it was proclaimed that I was a message of Anum, and they all kind of brought up this big fuss about it, and they said that Zephy would be the one that could decipher them, because apparently they're words. I mean, they are technically like runes, but I don't know what they mean. I just know that whenever I get real angry, they glow. But aside from that, Zephy, I mean, he pretty much raised me. Even though the village, they do our way of things one way, and that everybody is unbiased, everybody lives equally. Um, they thought Zephy was this. I mean, he was a giant. They thought, hey, we descended from these people. They're so great. He's gonna know everything. He could find out what these ruins mean. And then, of course, after years, I was kind of his lab rat almost. I mean, I thought at first that he was kind of teaching me like a dad, but then I realized that more or less I was like a specimen almost, like that I was gonna do a trick at some point, and he was gonna be the person that unveiled it to the rest of the giants. But yeah, whenever I found out about the ordering, which he didn't like bring up too much, finally kind of just cracked something something in me that really didn't like what he was trying to hone into me. In fact, just got me one day, and next thing I know, I was like in a crater because I got so mad. I just blacked out. I haven't blacked out like that in a good while. I try to keep it pretty cool up here, but yeah, that was the last time I saw him. After that, I kind of traveled place to place, did some odd jobs, helped some people, worked in the kitchen a few times to make it from village to village. But I don't think I don't think you should go back to the tower after we're done here. I think uh, I think with the money that this king is gonna give us, we're gonna find you a nice place where you can kind of lay low for a while and be able to, I don't know, figure out your own story. Not have to survive off of these bird mast assholes that won't even tell you.
She looks really sad for a moment as you're talking about your story. And when you start talking about your runes on your body, you can see that she kind of reaches over her shoulder and kind of rubs at her back as much as she can. And then she you talk about being a specimen, and she rubs at the inside of her elbows a little bit. And then at one point she looks over to Klaus, who has fallen asleep at this point and is snoring quite loudly. Um, and she looks back at you, and she says, "I'm sorry you went through that. And I don't know what half of the things you said mean, but it seems like you and I may not be so different. But I'm not sure where else I would go if not for the lighthouse. And it might be too presumptuous to say this, but maybe once Klaus is returned to his home, I could travel with you all until I find a place like you said. I've heard about these things called chickens. Are those... Do you know what those are?
Descended from dinosaurs. It's crazy.
Dinosaurs. Ooh. Dinosaurs must have been either very small or very big. I know the doctors have brought me some meat from chickens and something that they called a chicken leg, but that wasn't very big
Yeah, it was
unless
long,
they're
long, long
from
time ago.
babies.
Just think of like babies and giants. Like, I mean, and not everybody's descended from giants, of course, but I mean, you've heard of giants, right? Like, I know I'm 8 feet tall and all, but I mean, that synonym, I'm sure, is used for something. It's drawn from something. Also, what's up with the glowing mace? I know we didn't talk about that much.
Oh, it was just one of the things that the doctors gave to me once I got older. They said that because I could fend for myself, or rather I could cook for myself and clean for myself and that kind of stuff, they didn't have to come around as often. So they said that I would need to protect myself in case anyone ever came. And she looks back over to Klaus again and she says, so they gave me that, but they said I shouldn't play with it or use it unless I absolutely needed to. And I just kept it in the hut at the bottom of the lighthouse because I never really needed to use it.
Or you just knew how to turn it on?
Well, all I did was touch it and then it started glowing. And I don't know what that's about, really.
Can I see if it glows whenever I touch it?
Sure. And she picks it up from beside her and it starts to glow a little bit and she holds it out to you.
All right, you can hold mine. Oh, well, I mean, you don't have to hold mine if you don't want to. It's like 6 feet tall, and he just like puts the axe down. And he goes to grab the mace.
You take the mace, and as soon as it leaves Borealis's grasp, the glow dissipates.
Okay. I think I broke it.
Or I mean that's how it usually. What if she reaches over and kind of pokes the handle with her finger and it glows dimly.
Okay, it's working. All right.
I don't know what.
Maybe it's on now.
I don't know what that's about, but it's
Pulls
weird.
it away. It turns off again.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
This battery connection until everybody else comes back into camp.
Okay. Okay.
may I examine it?
And Borealis, hearing
No.
Gwendar's voice, goes, "Ah, oh,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. You stuck up on me.
He does
I-
that.
Sure." And she kind of motions over to Mordau, who's still holding the mace.
All right.
May I examine it more now?
All right, here you go.
Uh,
Be
So I'm
careful.
gonna put it on the ground and I'm gonna flick through my book again. They've never seen it, but my book has like pictures and descriptions of certain weapons and stuff, being my lineage and stuff.
Mhm.
What's a check what I need to make to identify? And I flick to the back, like the very back of the book, like of certain special weapons.
Roll Arcana for me.
I mean, also, like, I am just trying to not make her feel crazy, but I know, having read all about the ordning and all about
Ooh.
like, weapons of
Uh,
power
fif-
and like
Is it 15 to anything? Is
I
it 15 help?
in just a second. Dan, what were you saying?
I was saying, in the sense of, I don't want to make her feel weird about. Is there any? I mean, I would have recognized the mace head being of Lathander, right?
You can also roll an Arcana check.
Okay. Or a history check. I
Either
would have
history or
probably read
Arcana.
it.
Yeah. But for
Nope, don't remember.
for Max's, Gwendor.
I'm sorry, what sort of weapon is it?
It's
a mace.
it's a mace.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, this seems. Nope, lost it.
It's definitely magical. In your book, you probably have definitely you've seen magical maces before. You've seen maces that can be enchanted with different aspects of divinity. But this one isn't necessarily like checking all the boxes that a magical mace would have. It's glowing, so 100% magical, but you're not sure what else it could be.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna ask her who gave this to you.
It's doctors.
Hmm.
The doctors gave it to her. She doesn't know the doctors' names.
I don't know where they got it from either.
Well, clearly it interacts with you specially in a way that we can't activate it. So just like
Certain weapons like this require a key word to activate it. Did
she's
they
not saying
tell
anything.
you anything about it?
They told me to use it if I needed to defend myself in cases of emergencies. I've had it for 3 years now, I think.
I think just like how
If I may, so I can record a bit, learn a bit more about it. Would you be able to knowing
Sorry,
what's ahead of what Laurie said, would you be able to attack something so I can get an understanding of it? Like a tree, not
oh, yeah, I guess I could do that. I don't think my form is going to be as elegant as as Mordau's, but I could try.
Knowing this is a mace, think of it like a, and he flicks to another page where like it's certain stuff to be able to wield a certain weapon, and stuff. Maces, if wielded correctly, can basically crush rocks, can break trees, can even be used as an axe in a sort of way. Think of it like a steel pole. Use two hands and swing it like you're chopping a tree.
Like I'm chopping a tree. Okay. And she.
And I'm gonna
Mhm.
stand back, just not get in the way while holding my book.
I'm like right next there.
She.
I believe in you.
I would stand back more now.
Nope, I'm here. I want front row seats. Believe in you. You got this. Just try to swing the mace through the tree.
Through the tree.
Picture the mace through the tree.
Okay. You're standing beside her?
I'm like over off of where she's gonna swing. I'm like to the left side of her.
Okay. She picks up the mace and she stands up and she picks up the mace and she walks over to a sturdy looking tree nearby where you guys have stopped to rest. And she tries to think about Mordau's like form when he's wielding his great axe, and she takes the mace into both of her hands and very uncertainly swings it at the tree, and it makes contact with the tree, with the trunk of the tree, and there's no reaction, and she kind of looks over her shoulder at the rest of you and looks very confused and kind of like, is that what you wanted? And then something happens. The mace brightens, it illuminates, and there seems to be a hum coming from it. And as it begins to charge with this arcane power, it illuminates the entirety of your resting space. And you can hear several birds and animals scurry out of the way of the forest nearby you as all of a sudden that light just goes back into that mace and then is pinpointed directly into that tree. And that tree, and the tree behind it, and the tree behind that, and the tree behind that, for at least 100 feet out, are all they're encapsulated by this bright light. And then suddenly those trees just explode. And splinters go everywhere. And there's a loud crack and booming sound. And Borealis sees this happen and hears this and drops the mace. And it immediately goes out. And she stands back with her hands up and looks at both of you and says,
Woo! That was great.
I don't know where I learned this word, but what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
What in the name of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter just happened?
Okay. I don't know who that guy is. But I mean, if he's hunting vampires, he must be a pretty important guy. Hope I meet him.
I'm gonna grab a blanket and just cover it up and be like,
it's turned off.
Okay, you need to learn how to learn how to use this because this is very this looks to be like a very divine sort of thing,
I don't
and
know.
it's not in my book, so it's completely
I don't know what just happened. I don't know how I did that. I don't like this. And she kind of like backs up away from it.
Whoa,
And
whoa.
Klaus wakes up as soon as the explosion happens and he goes, "What the fuck happened?"
Some trees fell over. It's crazy.
Are we in danger? Is Bore okay?
No, we're all fine. We're all good.
Oh. Okay. Okay. All right.
Go back to sleep.
I think we're less okay than we were a minute ago, though.
Why?
Um,
What's going on?
a lot of trees
Very
fell
bright
over.
light and a very loud noise.
There's no more bright light now, though. But
Just because a lighthouse's light turns, faces the other direction, people could have seen it.
right, it just flashed, and yeah, sure, all these trees do point our way, but they could also be pointing the opposite way.
I still say we should probably move camp.
Oh, 100%, without a doubt, we need to get the fuck out of here.
yeah. I'm like,
Borealis walks farther away from the mace that's on the ground and she looks to all of you and says, "Can somebody else carry it for a little
Yeah, I
bit?
got it.
Thank you.
He picks up the king, picks up the maid.
I don't want that to happen again."
Just like goes to like kind of throw it like to throw it, like trying to catch the handle again. He fumbles a little bit and he's like, "Nope, I got it. Don't worry." Really fun.
Roll. Do we have sleight
Alright.
of hand in 5e?
Yeah,
Yes.
we do.
Roll sleight of hand for me, or dexterity.
And Bori,
Yes.
I'm curious. How
Yes.
much of that was the mace and how much of that was you?
Here's a hand axe.
I don't know the answer to that, and I'm
Can you-
sorry.
No, no, no.
Can you swing at that
What
tree
I
again?
mean is exactly what Mordau just said. Here's a hand axe. I'm wondering, is that particular mace just a tuning fork for you? Or do you have the same power inside of you all the time?
Okay. How heavy is your hand axe?
A hand axe is just. I mean, it's just.
Oh, it's not your great axe.
No,
Okay.
it's not my great axe.
It's
It's not the
3
hand
pounds.
axe. It's my great axe. Yeah, it's the
My bad. And with your
Okay.
sleight of hand, you do catch the mace as it almost fumbles out of your grasp. Borealis takes the hand axe and walks very uncertainly over to a different tree and swings it at the tree and misses the first time because she's nervous.
You got
And
it.
she
Just
resteadies
remember,
herself.
think about your form. It was look great last time.
Yeah, but I don't want to explode anything this
It's
time.
fine if you do. We're gonna keep walking.
No, no.
I'm scared
You
regardless.
want. Hey, Bori, listen. The purpose of this is to explode the tree.
Put the axe past the tree.
There's a reason. Because you have power in your blood. You know that. We're trying to find out, for you and for us, how much of that power extends beyond you. This isn't about the destruction. This is about finding what else you can do. If you learn to harness these powers, you can do great things for a lot of people. Destruction's the easy part. So like Mordau said, focus on your form, swing through the tree.
Swing
Deep
through
breath.
the tree. And she rears back again. And she hits the tree. And she waits. And nothing happens.
Hey, it's not a problem. We just know that mace is a tuning fork for you. So we're going to try this again, okay? So Mordau, could you hand me that?
You want the mace?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
Okay. All right, take care of it.
Okay. All right. You're still going to use the axe, right? But I want to loop the mace onto her belt.
Okay.
Hey, it's right here. It's your conduit. Pull from it, pull from you. You're a part of each other.
I don't know if I want to be a part of anything that destructive.
Anything is destructive if you don't train it.
It's fine. If anything, all these trees knocked over, all the acorns that have fallen off, you're creating more life. Eventually, all those acorns are going to grow into a bunch of trees.
Oh.
Look at healing. If you don't learn to control it, people that use healing magic, you just start healing wounds, and the next thing happens is you end up with a three-legged person or three arms. I think most guys wouldn't mind a third leg, but
Borealis goes, what would they use a third leg for?
it's third leg is talking about
Don't worry
their
about it.
pickleberries.
Even Bogo was shocked to hear that.
Yeah.
Look at her.
But if you learn to control destruction, it's the first step into controlling creation. And we're not talking all creation. We're talking about restoring things, fixing the broken in people's bodies, the broken in people's hearts, and the broken in people's souls. We first need to control destruction.
All right.
You're not broken, Bori.
That sounded almost like a compliment, Quill. And she rears back and she strikes the tree again. And she waits and nothing happens.
Okay. Another lesson learned in everything. So we know, at least a little better, that mace is your tool.
Yeah. It seems like I don't know why these caretakers gave it to you, but it does seem like this is kind of your birthright. I remember when I read about the giants and gods and things like that, they all had these artifacts that they used to have. Autumn had this thing that was called the Sky Cleaver. You could literally split the skies apart with it. I don't know where it's at, but this kind of feels like one of those things.
And
But only
that,
works for
Alright.
idiots. That's this.
like, Kuna speaks up, and I do believe within my society, certain individuals get what's called a. I forgot the name of it. It's a three-pronged wit. I just can't remember the name of it. So,
I'm trying to think of what the name would be.
I'm trying to think of it. It's
Yeah.
lots like embrace, I think.
you know, so
I also forgot what drow were called for a tenth of a second.
Yeah.
Is it the serpent whip?
I don't think so.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody's got the different artifacts of all of our cultures that are things that can find something. But I think this and I mean your blood. I mean, these are pretty important things that you kind of need to make sure nobody can take advantage of it. So I think if we end up not being able to travel together, we need to make sure that you're well off and not having to uh, show anybody what you can do, or in the sense of want to make sure that you're well off and not having to worry about things. I don't know, maybe open up like a wellness center or something and just rub your finger in the drinks before you serve it. Heal some people. Go full herbal medicine, things like that, you know?
Maybe I could find a way to help people and not have to sacrifice my blood.
Yeah, no, definitely 100% that. Because,
That's the goal.
I mean,
That's the whole
ideally, you
point of
want to
this
keep the
lesson.
blood inside of you.
I get really, really woozy
Yeah,
after the doctor's visit.
no, yeah. They don't seem like they're the doctors for your well being at all.
I don't know about that.
I mean, they were lying to you and taking your
Yeah.
blood. Sure, they were giving you some stuff, but hell, they could have just been taking your stuff to like a church or something like that instead of telling you that you're helping people. They were just telling you to stay away from everybody.
Well, they did say that I was helping by giving the blood.
Right, maybe helping their research or something.
Or
It's semantics.
whom were you able to help? All we know is that they took it. We don't know what they did. And since we know how powerful you are, we come into a problem where were they only helping themselves? Were they selling a miracle cure? Were they actually doing good? Did they sequester you so that uh, while you were away, no one could find you and beg you to fix everybody's problems all at once, more than you could do, more than you were ready for? It could have been good. But without proper answers, you should be, a bit wary.
Klaus speaks up and he says, if they were selling some kind of miracle cure, they never came to me. They never darkened my doorstep and offered. So, and he uses his rapier to kind of tap a path over to Borealis, and he places a hand on her shoulder. And he says, if you stay in the castle once I arrive home, I can help you find them and help you get answers. But only if you want to.
I mean, that's just trading a tower for a cell. I don't think that's a good deal. I think you just pay off what we got.
It could be genuine. But the idea of a gilded cage is still a cage. The idea is for you to be able to have your complete autonomy to make any choices, mistakes or otherwise, that you choose, and to let yourself be guided by temperance.
Quill, roll a wisdom saving throw for me, please. Okay. I was not expecting you to get a nat 1. So I need you.
Let the dice tell the story. Let the dice tell the
And
story.
basically, I need you to take 5 points of psychic damage, please.
Yep.
And as you do that, you don't know where this pain comes from, but it is sharp. It is like a needle sewing its way through your brain. And with that, you feel yourself having a string of thoughts be pulled behind this needle that you're not sure where they come from. But you hear the words temperance, death, chariot, sun, moon, magician, and high priestess. And just as quickly
notice that?
as those, nope. And just as quickly as these words enter your brain, the thought vanishes.
Well, buddy, you good? You drank something wrong?
No. Oh, bloody hell. My brain did it.
Anxiety?
Never. Too drunk to be anxious.
Damn, what's that like?
Did you ever play word association games?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know word association games. Sure. It was mostly.
I was talking. I said something, and then tarot cards went through.
I mean, yeah.
Was it? It was chariot, sun, moon, the king, priestess. Something. There was something else. Bollocks. Too quick.
Are you feeling all right, Quill? Let me check your temperature.
Hey, speaking of feeling all right, Connor, are you okay? You haven't blinked in 2 hours.
2.5 hours now.
My eyes are so dry.
Hey, how'd you do that? You just spoke without moving your lips.
He's throwing his voice.
It's because
Wow,
I'm a dummy.
crazy.
I mean,
Wow,
ventriloquist.
crazy.
That's it. No, I'm just
Professor
personally
Dan.
reeling over here from you saying the word chariot and me having to decide if that's an in-character thing or an out-of-character thing.
That's for you to decide. But Dan gets props for that joke because he said it in our private chat.
I'm kind of enjoying this like camera stuck image of me though. I think it might become like a new headshot or something.
Trying to in character.
Oh god, that was so California. Everybody has fucking headshots.
Thank you.
Here in the California Bay Area, with all of its rife theatrical communities, we call them selfies. That joke was fucking nothing. Don't pay attention to me.
Wow.
You're welcome.
I think my phone has 3 selfies in it from the past 10 years.
I would know tarot cards since they're pretty similar to runic stones. I mean, the same. Mentality of like drawn and stuff. There's a Venn diagram in there for sure about rebirth and all the other stuff. It's only there.
Yeah. I would say that thought process will get you there.
Probably gonna ask Quill. Can you repeat them again? And I've got my notebook.
I'm going to make an intelligence check because of the pain and how distracting it was.
On the what?
When it happened, it was fresh, but there was still that pain that's still lingering. So we'll make an intelligence check to see if I can still pull it all together.
With a nat 1 again?
My poor dude.
No.
Yep.
No. You can remember temperance because that's a word that you said, but
Yeah.
can't remember anything else about that, about what you saw in your mind.
Yeah, as I'm just still sitting here, like holding my head, it's like, so I feel something like wet on my lip, and I've got a bloody nose. I just had a small aneurysm.
You think this was the Lady of the Cards?
I think it was magic, mate.
Well, yeah, that picture looked pretty magic. It's a lady floating with cards.
It was a lady.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, love the picture.
Okay, Dan, I just did that, but you can't see, but because my camera's frozen. But yeah, the moment you say love, the picture love, not even looking, just full on anime style, pulls the picture out, holds it right up, just like that.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yep.
And is
This
currently
lady.
scanning the forest with her eyeballs, looking for potential intruders or sources of light or magic.
Roll investigation.
Oh, okay. Real middle of the pack this game, but that's an 11.
Would I know?
Nah, cool.
Would this be of tarot? Well, I guess there's some similarities to Taroka in tarot cards. I don't know if they use Chariot in Taroka cards. They're more like mod. They're more.
What's Taroka?
Taroka is what the Vistani use. In like Barovia. And like Kirsten Strahd, they use it.
That would be Love's, I think, only unless I guess it's kind of up to a ruling thing. But with the Fey Wanderer aspect, I don't know if that would be tarot based, but the Taroka would be on her list of previously encountered nonsense.
Roll history.
Me again? Okay.
Either one.
Either.
I would take a natural 20 for a total of 24 for
Oh,
history check.
yeah!
What take?
Natural 7. Let's go.
And which card were you questioning? Or just like any of them?
For love specifically, she would be. I mean, I get this is a call. I think it's the two cards that stuck out to me as a player are Chariot and Temperance, with also like Sun and Moon,
Mhm.
and like me knowing tarot would be a thing. But
Yeah.
love as a character, I think she's not going to know traditional tarot unless it's in the Vistani deck, and that's what she would have experience with.
It's
So
not the Vistani deck.
yeah,
Vistani's usually more about like marionettes and necromancers and like
yeah, there's
I mean,
like a not exactly
myth.
like a one-for-one trade-off, but there's enough of a similarity of like major arcana to major arcana kind of sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I guess you tell me what love would know from the librarian history there.
I mean, there's still dungeon.
There is still Donjon. Well, first, Mordau, you would remember that there are 7 cards in the Taroka deck that start with the letter T. And there are I don't know my alphabet. That's a fun realization for the child of an English teacher. And there is 1 card that starts with the letter C. Love, with your natty 20, you remember that there are no similarities between the tarot that Quill said out loud and a tarot cadet. But you know from your adventures and from your life in the monastery and in those libraries that there are various iterations of fortune telling cards that will have those card titles.
Got it.
And
One
I
other
think,
thing.
yes.
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
You were given information. I don't want to interrupt
I
that.
was, but I want to know what you say.
I was going to say, would I have noticed the need for my wisdom save earlier in the conversation, or no? I rolled a 16 back then.
What
You
exactly? Oh, sorry.
you would have noticed a stutter in yourself. You
Got it.
would have felt a pause in your thought pattern,
Mhm.
in the words that you said. Love is generally a pretty anxious person, so it's not uncommon for her to stutter over her words, to stumble. But this felt different.
Mhm.
This felt like a flag went up somewhere.
Got it.
And you're not sure which word you said is the one that caused that feeling.
Okay. Interesting. Love is going to withdraw into her mind and think about that for a second, and I will be right back after I chase down my kitten who has stolen something from this room.
Oh no, illegal. What has she done?
Legal kitty.
She's being illegal with her theft.
Quill, do you remember what you were saying up until you got that anxiety attack?
No,
Oh,
because he said that
he
he
disappeared. Oh my god, where's
Oh
Quill?
no! Oh
I'm
no,
back.
Bogo.
The lady of the cards.
What did she steal?
She took a sheet of styrofoam paper, and I don't know where she got it from.
What a nerd.
Yeah, she's something.
She's something.
Love
Bogo.
does not remember the trigger word, but
Mhm.
Love shares that back with Mordau and Quendar and Quill, because Quill's back. Of there's something out there. There's some kind of trigger word. There's something that's going to cause this. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. Hang on, Puff got another one.
Where is she getting these from? So yesterday, Connor and I were talking about the different D&D classes that the cats would have, and my nephew Phoebe is determined to be a paladin. Bogo is determined to be a monk because she does biscuit dance as her idol animation, and Puff is a rogue.
My two dogs are just a paladin and a rogue.
Yeah, as they should
He's
be.
definitely a rogue.
Hey.
He's a rogue fighter.
Arr.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay, you missed things.
Yeah.
You missed lore.
I will get it in the push-up.
Yeah.
Uses bonus attack.
He's using multi-attack.
Such a good rogue. Such a good rogue. And that happened to Quill, right?
What?
The mind attack.
Yes. Quill took visible damage from something.
Something. It's the lady of the cards.
Borealis says, "What lady of what cards? What just
On that-
happened? What did I miss?"
On that picture that Love is showing,
Mm-hmm.
can we? Is it clear or is it still? It's not the picture that we saw. Yeah, so the original picture that we saw was it all scribbled out. That picture that Love got was one where you saw the full picture.
The things that were scribbled out on the picture were welcome back, Connor. It's like you never left us. The things that were on the picture that were scribbled out were I'm trying to see the top banner, which seemed to have some kind of name attached
Her
to
name,
it.
that's right.
Yeah, and any kind of other, and just kind of like generalized wear and tear from like being folded or displayed or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, and the cards were blank, so it wouldn't give. No, like I could tell what kind of not house, but readings that she would do.
Yep. But as was revealed by Love, Love did recognize this as Zenoa Elrin, who is the help desk girl. And her full name was revealed by Quill looking in the logbooks back in Farfany.
I'm just trying to piece together about the sense of, well, I mean, I guess we could piece that those were cards. Names. that were read out, regardless of whether or not they were trying to give a message through or a forecast of what's to come. Which I mean, usually given a set of cards, it's usually a forecast.
Then knowing my race, Kunda is going to meditate on the ground, and his extensive again his racial thing. If I can, would I be able to, in a sense, just telepathically reach out to whatever entity this is?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. That's a great.
Because not knowing what he's come from, that he can turn certain signs and stuff.
What do you mean from just like dealing with psionics?
I was not expecting this to happen in this session, but this is phenomenal. Maximus, I would like you to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
Also, wait a second. Since it looks like whenever we go into this book, we're put to sleep, right? How's
I got an 11.
Okay, perfect.
how's
I will
Kundar in here with this?
resolve 1 second. You mean because Quindar's a drow and because elves
magic
and
can't
drows
put them
don't
to sleep?
Yeah.
I go into a trance.
I know, but you can't be put to sleep. Trance means you're aware of everything that's going on outside.
How dare you, Dan?
Unless it's
the good
astral
question.
projection.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
How
Ben,
dare
what
you?
were
I
you
have to think
what
about
were you
this.
saying?
More does have existential.
With an 11, with your Constitution saving throw, you feel something poke at your mind, at your consciousness, and you feel a sickly caress, and you feel you know what reptiles feel like, right?
Your birds practically.
Like humanoid reptilians or animal reptilians?
Like
Yes.
reptiles.
Scales.
Like
Scale.
scales. We'll say scales.
It's very weird that you said, wait, is it a person or an animal?
So for folks who don't know this fun, interesting animal fact, the general approximation for what reptile scales feel like is the same as your fingernails. Just fun thing if you guys didn't know. But you feel, Quindar, a sickly caress, and you can feel the feeling of scales brush past your mind. And with that, you are then given the sensation of absolute and utter loneliness and darkness. And you know darkness because you're from the Underdark, but this is different. And just as that thought hits you, you're pulled back out and you're pulled back into your mind.
What the? And this is just off. This is just off record. He's never dealt with anything like this. Like, what the? What the hell? I was not expecting it, and his face is like utterly utterly terrified. I don't know how to explain this, but eh,
You just go into a dream within a
whatever
dream.
I reached out to, it's not human.
I mean, we're both technically not human, so I mean, I guess Quill's the closest thing that we could pass by human, but I mean, he's got to have some demigod in him. The amount of alcohol he puts into himself, there's no way that liver is human. He made
Thank
a
you,
pact.
Mordo.
He made a pact with someone. I just know it.
I'm not saying I did or didn't, but I do know Eldritch Blast.
That's fair. I only know detect traps.
I, before we do that, let's talk about the fact that we know Zenoa has been inside more than one of these different dimensions. And if she's not here now, and she left a a trap where certain words could trigger the effects that it does, that means that she has figured out how to edit the story.
I mean, that isn't that technically what we do by interacting with it,
We can't interact with it when we're gone.
right? We can finish it, but yeah, she's
We,
definitely changed certain things.
exactly. And it seems as if she's left certain things behind.
Wards.
Normally, ward spells would have to be in a location
But they're
that
word wards,
that encompass the entire story.
right? But I mean,
That's a
outside of the
very
book, writing a word and putting a word on that word would technically mean it's part of the story. The long and short of it.
if she was editing the original source, that's an entire possibility. We know she was in Farfany. We know where she was last, but there's still a problem. Those effects. If she used magic, which she would have had to do to change those sources, they would have time limits. They'd wear out.
Well, time works differently in here.
It does. Much different.
I mean,
But the source was edited in your idea. The source would have been edited on the outside.
right. It was written.
Exactly. So, do you think it's possible that she might be behind the group that had been farming Bore to steal her essence?
I mean, I feel like it's an interesting concept, bringing one book, one story into another. Uh, but I
We're not
mean,
talking about that. We're talking about every one of these sources is its own world.
right.
And in any of these worlds, we've been able to move back and forth between them and take certain things with us.
But what happens to those things when they're outside their original realm?
I mean,
Certain
it just
things
depends.
change, certain things.
Remember, my chest turned into paper.
But the loot didn't. Your robe didn't.
Right, because I had them inside of things and not just carrying outside of me.
And if she were to have carried Bore's blood inside of her,
But what would she have taken from the king?
she could have been the one to set up where he was blind in the beginning.
It's all coming together. Oh yeah. Hmm.
Borealis
Now,
and
what do we?
Klaus, who are sitting across this little clearing from everybody, just going, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
We're
Uh,
talking
Oh,
about one. We're
we
talking
have a
about
play we're
one
doing.
crazy wizard who is trying to manipulate multiple dimensions in the possibility of becoming a god.
It's a
also,
play
you
that we're working on.
you guys exist in a storybook. This whole world is a storybook.
Oh, we just ripping that band-aid off?
Well, I mean, if they're right here and they're listening to everything, then they might as well know like the stakes that we're dealing with. Maybe they know something that we don't, or a different perspective. So,
What if that
yeah.
makes their head explode?
Well, then we'll just go back a page and call it good, right? That's how this works, right?
You know,
We haven't had to do that.
I was very careful to keep saying the word sources.
Yeah, I didn't say it either. Connor's the one that potentially doomed their existence. But I mean, this might be different realities. Who knows?
Yeah, but also like, okay, if we're gonna get metaphysical on this kind of thing, right? Um, there's nothing saying that their existence is any more or less valid than our existence, right? So like, just because they exist inside of, I don't know, like a storybook, doesn't mean that like we also don't exist inside of a bigger storybook that we can't
But
actually get
we
through, right?
but
Or
we
even
exist in two
like
different
an oral tale
places at
told
once.
between people or whatever. So like, I just feel like it's not that big of a deal, you know?
We exist on two different planes of existence at one time.
We probably exist on more than just two different planes of existence at a time, you know? There's no way to say. So, and Love turns back towards the kids and like, look, yeah, to us, you exist inside a storybook, but that's kind of a beautiful thing. And it doesn't change the fact that you are experiencing your own reality. And that's why we should take your plight and your problems seriously. So that way you all feel as good and accomplished and whole as human beings as you possibly could. So there you go. Reality subjective. You're welcome. Also,
Here's a
I'm having a
question.
meltdown.
Here's a question for you guys. When you came into this clearing area, did you make a campfire?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Especially
need-
after we just made like 20 trees explode. We were like trying to keep a low profile.
I need each of you to roll me a wisdom saving throw and a dexterity saving throw, please.
Hmm.
God damn it, Quill.
Well,
Gee, oh my god. All of you.
Wait. Maybe not all of
yeah.
us.
Not all of us.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I got. Sorry, I got a 7 for my wisdom and. Okay. For my dexterity, I got a dirty 20.
Okay. Quill and Love. Both of you notice the following. There is a leaf that is falling from a tree right behind Borealis. It is stopped midair. Borealis and Klaus have stopped moving. They have stopped breathing. They have stopped everything. As you begin to talk about this and argue about them being in a storybook, about planes of existence, about all of that, everything has stopped. The sound around you has stopped. The wind has stopped. Everything has stopped. And just as you notice this, the earth beneath your feet begins to shake violently. And Quendar, you are knocked over. You're already sitting down because you're in a meditative state, but you are knocked over onto your side. Quill, you are knocked off of your feet. Mordau, you are brought to your knees by this quake. And Love, you shift a little bit, but you somehow maintain your footing. But everybody else is knocked off balance from the force of this. And each of you can feel this creeping cold in this clearing. And if you look around you, you can see that fog of parchment that is so prevalent at the edges of the story creep in against these trees. And you can notice it more as you see the trees that were exploded from Borealis' spell. All of that path of destruction, is swallowed up by this fog of parchment. And as it gets closer and closer to each of you, to your clearing,
I'm gonna very fast say, Borealis, I'm sorry about this. I put her in my big burlap bag and I put her on my shoulder.
roll strength. I know this is a bad idea for me, but roll strength.
I think can I, in a panic, go into a rage? If not, I'm fine with just rolling a normal.
With a 17, you grab onto her arm to try and lift her, but she cannot move.
Oh,
And she is cold.
I got thrown over. Oh, is she? I mean, I can't lift her up at all.
You can't lift her up at all.
Lift like 900 pounds
No,
without raging.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I told you no.
It's fine.
But the fog of parchment is growing ever closer. And it gets to just behind
Boy.
her.
Are you here? Listen.
And as both of you try and shake her out of whatever is holding her still in this moment, everything resets. Those trees that exploded are back standing. The leaf that was falling, it's not falling anymore, but there's no leaf on the ground in its trail. And suddenly, Mordau is gripping onto Bore's arm, and Quill is holding Bore's face. And she is looking scared.
Hey, there you are. Okay, you're back.
Oh.
All right.
Why are you what's happening? Why are you
There was some
Okay.
magic shenanigans. You zoned out for a minute. We're
My
safe
name's
now.
Mordau. This is Quill. That's Quindar. That's Love.
See,
No,
I told you guys it wasn't a big deal.
I remember each of you, but
Oh.
it's like
Our positions have moved, and then all of a sudden, Mordau had your arm, and I had your face. I know. It's scary.
I
There
try
was
to
some
throw you in a
magic
sack.
shenanigans. Shut up,
Yeah, I did.
please.
I was gonna say before I was noticing all this fog and stuff, just to see if anything happens. Like if we can rewind a bit, what I'm gonna do to see if anything can affect this fog and stuff. I'm gonna swirl my hand around, and I'm going.
The fog. This is what
As
you're
a bit of
doing
a
when the fog was
prelude
going.
to it and stuff. I am going to cast Gust, and I'm going to send a blast of wind straight into the fog and see if anything happens.
the fog is gone. Just as Borealis came back to herself and she looked scared, the fog of parchment left. Everything was pushed back to how it was, and there's no evidence of the fog of parchment anymore.
So it was coming up to us and then it dissipated, or
Yep. It was creeping up
Okay.
into your space, and then suddenly it was gone.
So, there was some magical shenanigans. You kind of blanked out for a second. We solved it, and you're back.
What was the last thing you remember us talking about Borealis?
You were doing your dance. You did your, from your people with your axe.
My Haka, yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember anything else?
You and I were talking, and then Quill and Quendar and Love came back from wherever they went in the trees to find more firewood, I think. And Klaus fell asleep, and you and I were talking more now, and you were telling me about your markings, and I told you I told you about my mace, and that was it.
Yep. That was it.
Why? What?
There
How
was some
long? How long was I out for? Did I fall asleep?
You did
Just for a
fall asleep.
second.
You were put into a trance. It was magic. We had some things to deal with. We did it. You're safe.
Did you do that to me? And she takes a step back away from all of you.
No,
We got you
No.
out of it.
Roll persuasion.
put you in a trance. What? Why did you say? Why did you have to say that?
You see Borealis. She's very anxious because of what just happened, but she searches your face and she relaxes just a bit.
We're not going to let anyone hurt you.
Maybe we should stay here for the rest of the night and just...
That's a bad idea. Because there are forces of nature and others that know where we were. It's time for us to keep moving.
Okay. If you say so.
Hey, if anything's going to get within arm's reach of you, it's going to have to get past him. He's a very big man.
She kind of looks up at Mordau and smiles a little bit before she looks back at you, Quill.
All right. Klaus, kick his boots. On your feet. We're moving.
He does that whole like, what happened? What?
On your feet. We're
You
moving.
can readjust on the way.
going?
It just like picks him up by the scruff of his shirt and just plops him up like fireman carries him.
He goes, oh god. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm awake now. What happened?
Branch.
Borealis does not laugh at this. Instead, she tries to stick closer to Love.
Hey girl, how you doing?
A little confused. I don't... Yeah, I'm just a little confused.
That's okay. Me too.
Do you mind if we just kind of walk together for a while?
Yeah, no, not at all. Absolutely fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
By the way, you have a tail?
Yes.
Do a lot of people have tails? Outside?
Less than the majority, but there are several ancestries that do come with tails, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna interject in between because my face has been covered this whole time with like a sort of a ski mask.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be out in the open. She's not the only other person that's different and stuff. And I'm gonna take my hood off and going to take my bandana off and show my face sort of thing. Just see how she reacts.
She looks intrigued. You have glowing red eyes, don't you?
I am a glowing red draconic eyes now.
Ooh, draconic eyes now. Yeah, she's incredibly intrigued.
I am known as a he is a half elf. I'm what's called a dark elf.
Oh. And she kind of looks between you and Quill, and she notices Quill has pointed ears, doesn't he? And she kind of reaches up and she touches her own slightly pointed ears and says, I think I'm one of those too.
And much like Mordra, I'm the sort of elf within our society. Just like many gods interfere and stuff, I've had to deal with one god that is a how do I describe it? Bit of a doesn't like us talking to other gods in a sense.
So you were also cut off from things.
Yes, but my god, and I'm like, the other thing I forgot to ask is the moon out?
The moon is out. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning, so the first signs of dawn are starting to peek through, and the moon is setting.
And basically my
No.
god that I sorry. Oh my god, sorry.
No, I
To me,
was
Dan.
talking to one of the dogs, I think.
Basically my god is represented by that, and I'm pointing at the moon and stuff.
By the moon.
Yep, because that's my, and he's like just flicking through his pages of stuff to find like just how to explain it. Basically that celestial body is what represents her, and our society's patron god or matron god is her mother, in a sense.
Oh. I didn't realize that that the gods could be so in depth, I guess.
There are gods for everything.
There's a god for
Yeah.
slimes.
Do you say god for slime?
Yeah.
You
It's
ain't
really
wrong.
sticky when you go down there.
Mm. A god for everything. Is there
Yep.
Wow. Is there a god for girls trapped in towers?
Sort of, yeah.
Wow. Really is a god for everything.
Well, there are gods that, women, and there are gods for people who are trapped or enslaved or just, trapped by circumstances.
Hmm.
Now, the idea that one is specifically for girls trapped in a tower, maybe not. But in more general conditions, yeah.
Hmm. I wonder if I wonder if no, that's dumb. But what if
If you must know my pantheon of gods. The story is very 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 tragic, to say the least. More so than his.
hmm. Borealis says, "We well, Klaus said that the gods are dead, but you all still have gods?"
So, I'm going to pull a book out of my bag. Imagine this as everything in creation. And let's open to a page.
Mm-hmm.
This is our part of it. I flip several pages. And this is your part of it. We're not from the same place, but we're all in a part of creation. In our part of the creation, the gods are present. They're with us daily, to some extent. Some are absentee parents and some are right assholes. Here, back in your world, they're slightly less present, but you still know the stories. You still know the bits and pieces that get brought down, even if they're not here anymore. And we don't even know that for sure.
You hear Klaus speak up, and he says, "No, we kind of know that for sure. At
No.
least in our part of the world, in our countries."
Oh yeah, in your country, you know that every god is dead. And yet Bori is right here. So much for everything your scholars know.
Klaus Klaus's jaw tenses. And then just like prior, he realizes that you all can see him, and so he fixes his face. And he says, "Well, when we get back to the castle, maybe you can educate our scholars there and tell them that the gods live where you come from."
Why would we deliver someone that we know is somebody powerful to a place where you could use that over the other kingdoms?
Well, to give hope.
Not all gods give hope.
Hope doesn't live under a banner. Hope needs to grow out of the cracks.
Maybe some people would like to have a new bedtime story than the ones we always tell. And maybe some stories about your gods could help give them some peace or something. I don't know.
Trust me, I'm not going to tell the story of my pantheon. It's dark. It's dark.
Yeah, I don't like
Just
my
to say the
pantheon
least.
either.
Oh,
The
Not necessarily all the gods are
important
good.
thing, the important thing is to remember the stories they gave you, the wisdom, and use it every day to make yourself a better person than you were yesterday. That way, you bring your gods back to life in every action you take.
that
And
that might
with
work.
that, with that, you show everyone else around you that the gods still live inside you. And if they want hope, they try to emulate you. And you're a bloody king, which means everyone's eyes are already on you. So you need to be the beacon that everyone looks at. You want gods for bedtime stories? Be the story to be told. Be the force that drives out the darkness.
You know, Quill, I just may do that. I just may do that.
I bring quick sidebar, Quill.
With Klaus over your shoulder.
I put Klaus down.
He goes, "Ugh, okay. Okay.
Hug the tree until I get back.
Did you?" And he reaches out in front of him to try and find a tree.
I put him in front of a tree.
He hugs the tree.
All right. So we get close to eyesight of this kingdom, right?
What's more important is that his character changes to be something everyone else wants to see, needs to see.
Yes, I
It's
know.
more important than him being able to physically see.
Right. Right.
Because in the other version, he could see again, but he had to do very vile things to do it.
Right.
So we rewrite the story in a way that makes everybody better. Yeah? And from now on, we call it the multiverse, we call it the sources, we call it something other than, and
I was
I'll have this conversation with Love as
I
well.
wasn't I mean I wasn't gonna say anything. You heard me.
Yeah, you said books quite a few times.
I mean, yeah, I said books, but you're the one that was talking about making people think about other things.
A larger world. So far as Klaus knows right now is only what I told Bore about the understanding of we're all part of a larger creation. In that creation, gods are there somewhere. And that's the important part,
Right.
right?
Right.
We keep it vague and we use certain terminology to hide other things. These people are alive here, even if they're only stories in our world. We may only be someone else's story.
I just think that regardless of what we do to him, he's going to be looking for her now that we've uh, put her in the same camp as gods.
And that's why I want to get her power awoken and under control.
Right, but that might take years of training. I feel like if anything, we just make her well off.
Well, maybe she won't mind holding her breath through a bag of holding.
Yeah, I mean that's also the second idea that I had. I mean, I was ready.
Yeah,
We're
but
gonna make the Bagman happen in this story.
yeah, but the thing is it would need to be her choice.
Hey, she said that she wanted to go with me.
And she still might. But right now, she's sitting with Love, not you.
Right, right. But I mean, in just the sense of, I thought literally this existence was going to disappear, so did not want her to be erased.
Then what we have to do is, in the case that she could leave, is let her understand that how we got here was not completely under our own control. So that when we arrived, we came in through a special means. And to
Right,
leave, we're going to have to do it too. And that the only way to bring her would be if she were to get in the sack. We can't force her in.
right.
Now, there's still a third option. She might be powerful enough to leave on her own once her story here is complete.
I
If
guess we'll
that's
just
the
have to see.
case. But when she got mad, when she got scared, the world tried to implode.
I mean,
So,
I just feel like that was more of a giving the plot away kind of thing.
yeah, it shook her.
I think that would happen in any of the other books, regardless.
So we all need to be careful about the way we speak about certain events.
Oh yeah.
And if we have to lie, let me do it. It's second nature.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. You're the cool guy.
No, a man has made a lot of mistakes and quite a few enemies. I'd like to do something right for once.
All right, if you want to try to take your knack on convincing this guy to make a U-turn of where he's heading, go for it.
That's the plan. And we'll catch up to the others.
I get Klaus off of the tree.
He, at this point, having this happen to him so many times today, is just kind of like, all right, here we go again. And just settles in.
Klaus, do you want to walk?
That may not be a bad idea.
Okay, puts it above the ground.
Thank you. He pulls out his rapier and uses it to find his way along the path.
Yeah. I take out 10 feet of rope by cutting off 10 feet of mine.
Mhm.
Hey, Mordell, just hold on to this end.
Just tie it to my waist.
No prison connotations there. Klaus, hold on to this bit of rope, eh? 10 feet
Oh,
long.
okay.
Mordell's on the other end,
All right.
so you'll know if we turn.
Okay.
You'll be able to match pace with us and keep everything together, eh?
All right. Thank you. And he takes onto the rope and he wraps it around his wrist once. No, you're doing illegal things. You're not allowed to do that. Wraps it around his wrist once and very fumbly puts his rapier away.
Sorry to interject, Quill.
Mhm.
Klaus, with your vision, what does light appear like?
I have no vision. And so the same as everything else?
Just darkness.
Yes.
Then how's your touch?
Well, I read by touch. Not as good as my hearing or my sense of smell, I would say, but decent, better.
Wondering, I am just curious because with what I have at my disposal, my knowledge and disposal and stuff, What if I help you learn echolocation?
The thing
Sort of
that
a thing.
bats can do?
Yes, in a way, and I'm gonna say and I forgot to introduce you to this little to my what's called a, you know what a familiar is?
I know uh the word familiar, but I'm not sure
Uh
about anything else for
just
it.
just stand still, and I'm gonna get Laurie to cover my finger, and I'm just gonna be like, uh notice this thing I'm gonna put on. Notice this thing I'm gonna put on. I'm gonna put on you. Don't flinch. If you do, you'll scare her off. And I'm gonna put Laurie on his shoulder. On his shoulder.
Hmm.
Don't worry, she's friendly as long as you give her seats.
Okay. He flinches a little bit, and Lori startles briefly and then settles back in to sitting on his shoulder, um, and cocks her head inquisitively, like she's trying to figure out what this guy is all about.
And I'm going to say to Laurie, uh, and doing certain codes and stuff that she knows.
Hmm.
Uh, Sort of say, be his eyes, in a sense.
Do you
And
want?
I'm gonna say to Klaus, li listen for the sound of her chirping, because she has a very loud chirp.
Mhm. Are you trying to instill the teachings of echolocation via Lori?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Um, Klaus kind of nods his head, um, and Lori flits off of his shoulder and begins to kind of fly ahead of you guys in the trees and perches on low hanging branches, um, and will chirp every once in a while as you continue to travel on. And Quill, what was that insight check about?
The shift in Klaus's entire demeanor, not about Lori,
Mm-hmm.
about Bore.
Mm-hmm.
Will he let her go?
With a dirty 20, I think it's a little too soon to tell for certain, but you have a hope that he will. He has said previously that he has no interest in harming her when he said that the fairy tale was to find a blooming flower that would be his cure all. When he found out that that the story led to Borealis, and he immediately, from what he said, dropped it. and he asked her only to be an escort back to his home. So you have a hope that he will just let her go, and he will be true to that word.
That was his original thing, but then we also learned, Quill learned a darker intention, and now he has his fascination with the gods, and knowing that Bori has a divine seat with his curiosity. With that hope, would he be willing to let her go from what he knows now?
With that angle on the question, Klaus is very convinced that the gods are dead. And the gods seem to have had no real meaning to his life. He has only heard stories about them, and they are fictitious creatures. They don't exist. So what does it matter if this girl is descended from them in some way?
Okay.
Is there anything else that anybody wants to do or interject? All right. Yes.
That's the other thing I'd like to do. Is I'm gonna. What's the distance between Klaus and Laurie?
I think Lori is staying pretty close. She's probably only about 10 feet away from him. And once he kind of gets directly under the branch that she's on, or like close to that tree, she goes to another one. People are typing things.
It's me.
I can tell.
If we could just insert SpongeBob, my eyes, my eyes. The audio of this one, I would appreciate it.
Well,
Just make sure to blink during the eclipse, okay?
Oh, do we have an eclipse tomorrow?
No, it's next Saturday or 2 Saturdays from now.
Oh, okay.
April
So on
8th.
our next game.
The day before our next game, yeah.
Oh. Wow.
We'll have an Little Shop of Horrors.
Yay!
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 Yay! Well, if nobody else has any game matters to attend to, I think as we continue down the dark path of the woods, this is a good place to end our session for the night.
I'm nodding, but you can't see it because my camera still doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
If you look deep into his eyes, you can see the nod.
You can. You can just imagine it. Awesome. Well, thank everybody for joining us for episode 6 of Between the Prose. I've been your dungeon deity, Finn. You can find me here every other Sunday, being a dungeon master. You can also find me every other Monday on Eric's game of Gaia Chronicles, where I play Penny Land, who is a summoner and has a son named Smooches, who's a dragon. Thanks for joining us. Eric, do you want to give an outro?
What's up, Internet? My name's Eric. I play Quill. You can find us, most of this group together on every other Monday on Gaia Chronicles. And that is a bit of, anime JRPG action over there. We appreciate you guys who come in and join this game with us and trying to experience this story. With us in theater or trying as authors. We love sharing our stories, and we really appreciate that you all come. So we just want to thank you all, and thank you for coming to the Vibe Tribe. And we really appreciate it, and we really love you guys.
And now let's say goodbye from all of our other players, like Dan.
Dan, you can also find me on Gaia Chronicles playing Norm Allman, regular normal artificer, human. And yeah, we play that every other Monday as well. We're here on the channel. And yeah, until next time.
Yeah. Maximus.
I am Maximus playing Kunat. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say at the moment. Stay tuned.
And Connor.
Whoa. So, yes, I'm Connor. I've been playing Love. You can find me in Gaia Chronicles playing Cypress, the Harengon alienist apothecary. You can also find me in this season of Vibe Tribe over on El Juego. We play one Sunday per month, so be sure to subscribe to all the Vibe Tribe things so you can catch what day that is on. But I play Siniza, the Anabaquin investigator. Yeah, I was going to say something about El Juego. Oh, it is our Hispanic and Latin inspired game, GM'd by Adolfo the Nerdy Puerto Rican of Biconics fame. It's a great game. It's super fun, and more people should watch it. You can also go back in time and find me in some of our Season 2 games, such as A Walk Among Gods, Neon Memories, and Duskvale. Yeah, subscribe to all the Vibe Tribe nonsense, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you watching more of our stuff.
Yeah. Please go check out more of Vibe Tribe's catalog. There's lots of great games and great players and great dungeon masters that deserve your attention. But in the meantime, everybody have a good night, drink your water, and we will see you in 2 weeks for another episode of Between the Prose. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Waving.
You're waving.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.